Washington's primary, it is election night. Let's start with U.S. Congressional District 9, which covers parts of King and Pierce counties. So that includes a portion of Seattle, Bellevue, Kent, Auburn, and Federal Way. King 5 has called this race for incumbent Congressman Adam Smith to advance. You can see has 51% of the vote so far. Second position there, still too close to call. Right now, Republican Doug Bassler is in second, and independent socialist candidate Shama Sawant is in third. King 5's Jim Nelson is tracking this race for us tonight. He is joining us live from Sawant's campaign. Jim.
Yeah, Jess, and she is addressing her supporters right now. They obviously, just the way that results come out in the state of Washington with the new ballot dump each and every day, too early to call at this point. Sawant herself did acknowledge that it is an uphill climb at this point. And one of the earlier speakers, a volunteer staffer, had referenced the Republican candidate Bassler. They felt that if he were under 25%, there would be some room with the subsequent drops to come that they may be able to make up some ground. If that'll be enough, obviously that's yet to be determined. Obviously the Smith campaign has to be awfully confident with where things are going. At just over 50% on primary night, they figured it would be a slam dunk that they would advance out of the primary, and you would think that they feel they have momentum into the general election. You're going to hear from two people here momentarily. We will hear from Sawant, who, as I said, is addressing supporters right now, and then you'll hear from Shasti Conrad, who is the chair of the Washington State Democratic Party, who was at Democratic headquarters tonight for an event co-sponsored by the Smith campaign, although Smith did not address any reporters tonight. So again, you'll hear from Sawant and then the Dem chair, Shasti Conrad.
And we owe it to the material realities of a fight against capitalism to not leave tonight demoralized. It is very, very important that we are clear that in the long arc of the fight against capitalism, yes, guess what? Yes, there will be setbacks. And all it is a reminder of how uphill this task is.
You know, I think Adam has delivered for his district. You know, he has been someone who has really shown strong leadership, not just for the district, but for the entire country. So we're thrilled to get him back.
So again, after just one night, the Smith campaign certainly confident. You would imagine in that, again, with Shasti Conrad, not affiliated directly with the Smith campaign, but speaking on behalf of the Washington Democratic Party. Sawant still speaking right now, receiving an ovation from supporters here at their Seattle watch party. Again, they're in wait-and-see mode to see how the subsequent ballot drops shake out. We do know, of course, that in King County and Seattle in particular, progressive candidates do tend to get a bump the later things go. If it'll be enough, that obviously remains to be seen. Live in Seattle, Jim Nelson, King 5 News.
Thank you, Jim. We are also tracking a heated race in Washington's 3rd Congressional District. King 5 has called that race. Both Democratic Representative Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez and Republican John Braun are advancing to the general election. Right now, they both have 39%. Gluesenkamp-Perez just spoke to supporters.
Well, the results are in, and I am profoundly humbled and grateful for the show of support across our district and encouraged by the values that voters are demanding, like loyalty to our district, rejecting unthinking partisanship, practical solutions that build more power for working Americans, and skepticism of both big business and big government.
And we will have much more on her reaction to tonight's results here in just a few minutes. But right now we want to get to Drew Mickelson in Chehalis with Braun's campaign. Drew?
Well, Jessica, we are here with State Senator John Braun, who I think is safe to say you're a congressional candidate now. About 39% of this initial vote. Looks like you're moving on to November. How do you feel about this tonight?
Well, I'm very excited. I'm grateful for the opportunity. We've put a lot of work in over the last 10, 11 months, getting out, talking to folks around the district, understanding the concerns they have, the challenges they have, and really working hard to bring policy solutions that will make their lives better, their families' lives better, and their communities better. So we got a lot of work in front of us, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to move to the general and bring new representation to Southwest Washington.
Your opponent, Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez, has already put out a statement. She's calling you a sellout for getting the president's endorsement. Can we expect a nasty race here the next couple of months?
Look, she can say what she wants to say. I mean, I could talk about the fact that she's raised money largely from outside of Washington, from folks like George Soros and the Pritzker family. The reality is we're going to run a campaign that's focused on Southwest Washington, an independent campaign that listens to the will of the voter and really committed to go to Washington, D.C. to deliver results for Southwest Washington, for Washington and our country.
And you're doing very well here in Lewis County, but Clark County is where a lot of those votes are. Do you focus on that?
Absolutely. A big chunk of the population is in Clark County. I represent historically in the state Senate, represent a small part of Clark County. So, we're coming from virtually zero name ID, and yet, 60% of the voters did not vote for the incumbent. I feel like we're in a very strong position. We got to go keep doing the work, getting to know voters, bring them the solutions that will make their lives better. I think we do that, we win in November.
Okay. Thank you very much, Senator.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. We'll let you go speak with your supporters. A lot of folks here not really surprised by these results, relieved to see those numbers, and eager to carry on into November. Live in Chehalis, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
Okay, Drew, thank you. And let's stick with this race. Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez trying to win a third term. Let's go now live to Alma McCarty, live for us in Vancouver tonight with her campaign. Alma?
Hey, this is the primary watch night party for Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez. Of course, she just learned a couple hours ago that she is going to be facing State Senator John Braun. And she did call him a sellout when it comes to that endorsement by Donald Trump, and that he's going to work for Donald Trump. She told this party here, this relatively small but enthusiastic party, that she is deeply grateful. Gluesenkamp-Perez herself touting that she's a small business owner, a mom to a 4-year-old who lives in rural Skamania County. She focuses on issues she says aren't partisan but practical around things like right to repair, daycares, prescription drug costs, and trades classes in public schools, what she's called place-based politics. Here's a little bit more of what she had to say.
My work in Congress, if I am so fortunate as to be able to continue this work, will be to reject a cheap substitution of shiny promises of new stuff, and instead continue to fight for respect and power for ordinary people to own homes and raise families, and to do it on the strength of their own 2 feet without bowing to a big name or exploiting their neighbors.
Now, for 3.5 years, she has represented folks in this deeply purple district, a district that President Trump has carried 3 times. And last time around, she ended up beating out Joe Kent, who's a veteran who went on to serve as the director of the National Counterterrorism Center under the Trump administration before resigning in the spring. She is looking forward to the race in November. Back to you.
Alma McCarty live for us this evening. Thank you. We want to go now to one of the most talked about state Senate races, the race for Legislative District 43, which includes Seattle's Capitol Hill neighborhood, parts of Fremont, and the U District. It features incumbent Democratic State Senator Jamie Peterson and progressive challenger Hannah Sabio Howell. Right now, Peterson leading with 71% of the vote, and Sabio Howell in second there with 18%. Natalie Swaby tracking this race for us tonight. Natalie.
Just a short time ago, minutes ago, actually, I was able to talk with Senator Peterson. You're going to be able to hear his words about having these results tonight, 71%, like you just said. But earlier, we were also with Hannah Sabio Howell's campaign and at a watch party. And at that party, she did talk about the fact that she does have big support here. She's got endorsement from Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson, and she does have a background working to support the gig workers and also working as a legislative aide. She wants to see universal child care. She wants to see rent relief, and she wants the ultra wealthy to have to pay for some of it. Just listen to what she had to say tonight after learning the results. She's receiving about 18% so far. Here's what she had to say to her supporters.
Workers are fighting to be able to live, to make enough to live near where they work. Queer and trans people are fighting to call refuge a neighborhood that is systematically pricing us out. People with disabilities are fighting for a city that works for us. Immigrants are fighting for safety against a federal fascist regime that has turned ICE into the biggest law enforcement agency in the country. We are fighting because we are not going to settle for just fine anymore.
No, I think it's really healthy for democracy to have people run. And I had somebody who was criticizing me for passing the millionaire's tax at all, and then another person who said that it was too little, too late. And, you know, that's going to be a huge conversation in our state this fall. I think it's really healthy for our district. It's really healthy for the state for people to have those conversations.
And just hearing there from Senator Peterson, who has been in Olympia, climbing the ranks over the last 2 decades, getting the Senate Majority Leader spot, talking there about the millionaire's tax, which we do know that recall effort looms, but he is supporting it, championing it, saying that he wants to see that money funneled into schools and into tax relief for working families, health care. So looking back last time around in 2022, he ran unopposed, but you heard him talking there about the challenge ahead and looking forward to this race. Back to you.
Natalie Swaby live for us tonight. Thank you. And a reminder that we have, a lot of numbers and results coming in right now. So to see all of those primary election results, you can just text the word results to 206-448-4545. We will send you a link right to your phone.